The voter registration in Pretoria. Let's now welcome our reporter Patricia Visagie. Patricia, good afternoon to you. Do tell us more about today's voter registration drive. Are people eager to vote in that part of Pretoria?
Well, good afternoon, Alicia. Yes, indeed, we saw in the story that you just played, of course, Pretoria station came alive very early this morning with, the political heavyweights flocking to the station. And the message was very clear from the leaders, and that was to tell South Africans that it is important to vote. But for them to be able to do so, it is also important for them to first register. And of course, that's why this weekend is there to make sure that South Africans who are eligible voters do make sure that they get on the IEC's databases so that they can be obviously recognized for the upcoming local elections that will take place later this year. But it's not only about registration. South Africans are, of course, also urged to make sure that their necessary details are correct, those who are already registered with the IEC. So if in case you have moved, if maybe you're not living in the same area, then it's important for you to go and update your details, your new address, etc. So it was really a very clear message from all the leaders. We saw them engaging with, a lot of commuters, from train commuters, bus commuters, taxi commuters, all coming together under one roof. And of course, the hawkers as well, the street vendors who also, running the informal trade around the Pretoria station. They were also, targeted and, of course, reminded of the importance to register in order to participate in the upcoming local elections later this year.
Look, Patricia, what are some of the challenges that the IEC faces during the upcoming elections? I mean, issues like, I know you've just touched on it, uncollected ID books, a problem, voter registration material, the staff, and of course, police to keep a watch over things tomorrow.
Well, certainly, a long list of things that, could go wrong, or the IEC rather being concerned about. But I think the focus right now, as the Minister of Home Affairs has already highlighted, remains the uncollected ID books. Now, of course, he has given us, very large numbers of people who still have not collected their identity documents. And that is, over 270 people, and that means over 200,000, rather, to get the number correct. Over 200,000 South Africans who could possibly, participate in the upcoming local elections could possibly not do so if they don't go and collect their ID documents. So it is important that those South Africans make sure that they do collect their documents. So if you have, for instance, applied for a new ID in the last year or so and you have not collected it, it is of vital importance that you do collect your ID, because you're going to need it to register and you're ultimately going to need it to vote later this year. Of course, that remains, I think, the highlight. There hasn't been so much of other concerns. Of course, we are only at the beginning of the process that leads up to the local elections that is set to take place much later this year. So there's still a lot that will happen up to the time when the date has been made official by the IEC.
Look, Patricia, before I let you go, what about the all-important youth vote? What message did the politicians have to encourage the youth to register and vote?
Now, of course, the various leaders agreed that, the youth of South Africa must capitalize, on their right to vote. We heard the mayor of Tshwane reiterating, and that is, of course, Khosenso Ramokgopa, telling the youth and the media that we know that, about close to 70% of Tshwane's population, that those are people 35 years and younger, and that is the youth, and that comprises of close to 70% of the population, and that's a very large number. So he really highlighted that it is important for the youth to also make their cross, for them to also, be part of the decision-making process, to also shape and be part of, the people that make the decisions in terms of municipalities and how the various respective, or rather, municipalities are functioning and are run by the various leaders.
Thank you so much for that update. Patricia Visagie, live to us from our Pretoria studios.